Dead Workers Party, a Smite podcast.
Dead Workers Party on Smite episode 207, recorded on May 29th, 2014.
I'm Brent Copeland.
And I'm Eric Fullerton.
I'm Afro Monkey.
And I'm Kevin Sayer.
Hey, what's
I
up?
thought it was going to be Kevin Pentakill Sayer.
We'll talk about that a little later, about how much he wished he got one, but never actually did get one.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to On Smite, Season 2, Episode 7, otherwise known as 207.
Yeah.
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 Whoa.
Yeah.
Things
Whoa.
Were you
is
correcting
starting
me?
off at a good pace.
Good pace, I think so, too. Yeah?
Hey, Eric.
I missed you.
Yeah?
Oh, God.
What's cracking?
No, that's not how it happens.
Oh.
No.
What?
How
No.
does it happen?
That's
And you totally got the people reverse of who runs the bumpers.
That's
yeah.
right. Hey guys, what's
Yeah, because the way you guys lit into it there was so much better.
what is cracking, Kevin?
Well, I got a pentakill. Moving on.
Yay! We got some news this week.
It was my first pentakill, legit pentakill ever, so I was pretty excited. It happened like 2 hours ago as well.
So, and you're not counting the fact that you were playing with a bunch of Smurfs, that it was...
I wasn't playing with Smurfs.
Not Smurf Pentakill.
Because
that's
listen, Brent,
awesome.
listen.
No, I'm joking with you.
Wait, listen. If I was playing with Smurfs, I wouldn't have gotten a pentakill. So
That's true. That's true.
I was playing with a friend of mine who's level 8, and with Okami, who was on my team as well. So they weren't like super noobs, because it tries to kind of balance out the levels when you play with low level people. But I mean, they definitely weren't.
Who cares?
my kind of
It
level
said
player. But I don't care.
pentakill.
It's legit, and it's on my stats. You can look.
I did. I looked at
Real.
your stats and I saw the pentakill with the skulls or the a demon whatever it is.
And High Res went in and they said, not really, right underneath it.
Yeah.
So
we do have
congrats.
some news.
Congrats, Kevin. That's awesome.
Very
Thank
nice,
you.
very nice. And
So what's news in the news? That was the interim bumper.
oh,
So we got a couple stories here. The first one is if you're listening to this, live, you can take advantage of this. But if you're not, well, this is kind of cool that they're doing this. So over the weekend, they're going to have all the gods unlocked for everyone. So
Yeah.
you can try them all out.
and the goddesses,
And the goddesses.
and the
Both of
To me,
them.
like a free weekend of Smite, basically.
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They're also
And-
going to be handing out free pints of Gabby's blood
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
to everyone that plays the game.
That's,
Yeah.
He's going to run
right.
out. It's going to be unfortunate, but
Cool.
Gabby's
Yeah.
going to stop talking to us if we keep talking about his blood.
I haven't talked to him in a while. I think maybe he's already.
I think we've already scared him off.
already
I've
burned that
talked to him.
bridge.
Yes.
talked to him a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, maybe that's the issue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brent.
Speaking
my gosh.
of issues, possibly issues, I don't know what y'all think about this next story, but so League of Legends, they have like members, employees that are in a band called Pentakill, and they're releasing their first album. It's like heavy metal, and it's called Smite and Ignite.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
So, it's kind of.
Did
Like,
they
I don't
mean-
know, like, to me, like, Smite is pretty synonymous with the game Smite and gods. Like, you smite people. Like, I don't think people run around League. Like, I never heard it in League,
Uh-huh.
right? I never heard people play, man, I'm going to smite them or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
it seems, I mean, that's kind of denoting that a god is killing somebody, right? They're smiting them.
Right.
Right.
Or getting killed by a god, I think, is what it is.
So do you think this
Right.
is some sort of SEO play that they see Smites coming up and hey, if we throw Smite in there when people start doing searches for Smite because League has better SEO than Smite does,
Yeah.
it'll pull up their album and pull up League when people are searching for Smite.
Well, it could also be seen as kind of a dubious thing too. Like you said, if that gets higher than Smite, like they're trying to bury Smite. Like
Exactly.
They don't want. Oh, okay. Like you said, like,
yeah.
they don't want people knowing that that's an option because League of Legends, it's the only game in town, baby.
So instead of like normally someone hey, you should play Smite, they go search for Smite, it would bring up Smite probably first, right? Smite MOBA. But now you do Smite and MOBA, it's going to be like all this, because I already looked like it's already like all about Pentakill. Like when I was looking at news for Smite, that's how I saw it, because half the stories were about this Pentakill thing instead of anything Smite.
Well, that's
so
weird.
it seems dubious to me. And it, you know, honestly, it kind of goes with the community that surrounds League of Legends. They're a bunch of douches, all of them. Blanket statement,
Blanket statement.
Wow.
There
but
we go.
true.
All right.
So you can read more about it and you know, listen to the album if you want to. It's probably trash. na.pentakillmusic.com/en.
You can follow.
How do we just advertise for them?
Well, I'm saying you can go there and, you know, send them a message that says they're a douchebag, just like their community.
You can
also
follow
their
Brent
music
on
stuff.
Twitter.
So
Tweet them out.
Tweet them out.
I have a message for you. Gotta go fast. Whoosh! Yeah!
We got mail. Let's take a look at Mercury's mustache.
Let's go.
Let's go. So we got a couple emails. Nothing in the Smite submit.deadworkers.
Do you think it's a URL? Do you think
Could be.
people just don't like it? We love
possibly.
opening that doc and seeing stuff in it. Unfortunately, we never see stuff in
Yeah. But last
Yeah.
week there was 2.
it.
This
Yeah, there were
week there
2
was
things last
0.
Oh.
So Smite submit at deadworkers.com. That's
Maybe
probably
that's why
right.
we're
yeah.
not getting it.
They're like, I get a bounce every time I
Every time I
to
email that, yeah.
But it's an easy form, so you don't even have to like, you know, really know anything. You just go there and fill it out, and you're done. Whereas an email, you've got to remember the email address, and then
You have to sign up for an email address, and no one has those.
yeah, so odd. And you
Super
can also
complicated.
tweet us now. We have it live. Like you can see, Raging just tweeted. I'm watching Dead Workers live, and JBJ tweeted my second ever live on Smite. So like we got it in the studio live now, so we can see that. So just tweet us out or in at Dead Workers. Hashtag the segment you want us to talk about it in,
Tweet us up and down.
and you're good to
All
go.
around.
So, okay, the first one here is from Slaydick, who says, do you think Smite could be on Steam sometime in the future? I know Hi-Rez already has put a game on Steam, so I wouldn't be surprised if they brought Smite as well. It would bring a lot larger audience, and as a cross-promotion, they could have a Galados, Janus, or Janus crossover, or something. What do y'all think about that?
Okay.
I mean, I think it'd be cool, but I mean, Valve wouldn't be like, no, you can't, because they're. I mean, look at all the crap that's on Steam right now. They're not gonna Valve is obviously not turning anybody down. So
I don't know what you're talking about. They have very high standards for everything they put up there.
listen,
So I agree with you there. I don't think this is an issue with Valve. I think this is.
I think it's a Kairos thing.
I think Hi-Rez has actively decided not to for one reason or another. What do you think that would be?
Well, I mean, they probably are looking at it from would it really gain us anything from putting this particular game, being that it's free to play? They're getting some traction just doing it from their website, so they might just be like, we don't think that it's going to be that big of a benefit for us to go through the process of getting it on Steam.
Right.
I think one of the reasons is perhaps the same reason that Notch didn't want to put Minecraft on Steam, is that you have to go through channels to push updates, and Hi-Rez is doing updates all the time on their game.
Oh,
But if
that's
they
a
put
good
it through
point.
Steam, then for people that are playing the game through Steam, they'd have to go through channels to update the game for them. Whereas if they're just doing it through their own launcher, it's easier.
I'm going a different route because, like, I've seen games like 7 Days to Die. They put updates all the time.
Every week.
All the
Yeah.
time. Like, every week they got updates.
Well-
and they're a small company, probably not making a large chunk, so it's not... I think it's all financial. I think to get your game on Steam, you probably have to assign something and give a certain amount of...
Well, I think you have
the
to give an
money you
amount
make.
of profit,
Well,
but
but
I don't think you have to pay money to sign on Steam.
right,
I-
but go on, Afro.
I'll say that Tribes uses the same update engine as Smite does.
Right.
Oh, it does?
And it's on
And Tribes
Steam.
is on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
then again, Mojang is a terrible company, so
I
who
think
knows?
basically what it comes down to is if they have to give a piece of the pie away, and right now they're seemingly doing okay on their own to say, like, I don't know what that piece is, but say if it's 10, 15, 20%. I mean, you know, like
Right.
Apple's 30% across the board, so you know it's probably somewhere under 30.
Right.
But say 10%, then they're just looking at the numbers and saying, would we get a 10% increase of people that would purchase 10% more, basically, to make up that difference? And until they
Well-
get these numbers where they want them, then I think eventually we'll see it.
I guess my question is, why would... Because the game is free to play, so you can just download the game, it's free to play. Would that mean they'd have to put, like, the gem buying through Steam as well?
Probably. You'd probably
No.
have to use Steam.
I don't think so,
money.
because the Tribes has in-game purchases as well that you can do through their website.
Well, then
I
how do
would-
they
if I
track
were-
the money on that?
I mean, if this was a Valve issue, which I don't think it is, but if it were a Valve issue, I would see it as, you know, if they put it on Steam, people that, you know, people would be more inclined to look at it. I don't know. It'd
I
be like
agree.
this-
I think a lot more people would buy it.
But
So
then
this
people
is a
that
great
already
Kelly
play Smite
question, right?
that maybe don't
Yeah, this is
have
something we should
Steam,
ask.
which is probably like nobody, because like everyone that plays PC games probably has Steam, but maybe some people don't. So then they would see the Steam thing is like integrated, because maybe Hi-Rez would put something on their website, like get it through Steam, because they definitely wouldn't take it down and getting it through them. I don't think that would ever happen.
This is probably a question that we should send to Kelly and see.
I put it on our
Yeah.
list.
Okay.
From us
All right.
to Kelly. Why isn't it on Steam?
I like it.
Okay, the next one we have here is from Josh, who says, "Hey guys, my name is Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey.
Josh.
Hi, how's it going?"
Whoa.
Oh God, he answered back. No, I have been listening to you guys for a couple of years now, and I have to thank you for introducing me to Smite. I have been playing
Welcome.
almost a year now, and feel I have a good grasp on the mechanics. My question is, do you feel as if the price of wards are too cheap? As is this price detrimental to the active Eye of Providence? I feel as if wards are far too cheap and should be increased to make Eye of Providence once again viable. Love the show and keep up the good work. So, what do y'all think about that? Like, have y'all ever considered buying Eye of Providence?
No, but I
Yes.
usually don't
Not
play
anymore.
a god that would. Usually I'm playing an ADC, and
Right.
usually I'm not playing Conquest, although I haven't been playing as much lately. But usually I'm not playing a god where buying Eye of Providence would be a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I agree with what Drybear said back in the day. At the point the game is at right now, there are just actives that are better. And so it's not worth it wasting an active slot for Eye of Providence when you can get wards so frequently anyway. I also don't want them to increase the price of wards. It would affect high-level play, but, you know, not the whole play is high-level play. So there's already an issue with people buying wards.
Yeah, this.
I agree.
If there was anything that made it so people would be less inclined to buy wards, I don't want that.
Yeah, this would just basically be like, oh, well, I don't like buying wards anyway, and you've raised the price of wards, so it's harder for me to get the gear that I want.
Right,
So
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy Eye of Providence, and I'm also not going to buy wards.
Because I'm thinking
this
like
is what I
both.
think. This is, I think, how they could fix this pretty easily is change it from an active to an item. An item that basically does the same thing. Law used to have an item like this. It would give you the first rank of the item would give you 2 charges, I believe, and you could actually give you 4 charges, but you could only use 2 at once. So you'd use the 2, and if you used the third one, it would
Take away one
It
of
would
the
take
2.
away the first one you put
Yeah.
out. But
Okay.
every time you went back to base, it would recharge those 4 charges.
Oh, okay.
And then when you leveled it up, I think it maybe gave you 3 instead of 2. And then it maybe even turned them into sentry wards, like at a higher level or something like that.
So it was like a weird version of an active that if you used all of it, it went away.
No. You
No,
kept
no.
the item
Like-
and it
like-
refilled every time you went back to base.
When he says item, he means
It's an item. Like instead of buying boots or buying something like that,
yeah,
you would have
it's,
an
it's
item.
part of your
Oh,
build.
an item. Okay,
Yeah.
not like a consumable.
No.
No.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand.
So, and I think that would, and you could even add stats to it at higher levels if you wanted to. But I think having that item would be worthwhile. And
I think
beneficial.
adding a couple of passives to do
Maybe like some health.
to do
right?
something just as kind of
because why would people buy it then if it gave them nothing other than making
to
wards?
sweeten
right?
the deal.
Think about it. How often do you? Well, I mean, in game, yeah, you fill up your items if the
Yeah.
game goes long enough. But there's a lot of games where I don't fill up my whole, item things. And maybe that's because I suck and don't get enough kills. But
Well,
if
and-
your support and like a true support, you're getting less kills anyway.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I get both as support. I get wards and eye. Because if you think about it, if you get 6 wards, that equals a level 1 eye, right? It's 300.
See, this is the way I look at it, though. For a support, you're getting, like, Hand of the Gods. And then your second active is...
Hand and eye is what I do.
Well, and see, I think
your
that's...
second active should be some kind of counter active. So maybe a Creeping Curse or a Weakening Curse if they have a healer or, like, Vamana on their team. Or you can buy Heavenly Agility so your team can get into fights quicker. So you're buying, like, a support active then as well that directly affects team fights.
Yeah, I see that.
I agree with Drybear in that I think there are wards that are better than Eye of Providence. Sorry, wards. Actives that are better than Eye of Providence and more helpful. And wards are great. You know, wards are very, very important. I'm not trying to say wards aren't important, but there comes to a point where, like, when it gets to the team fight, you can only... And you have 2 actives that are worthless because Hand of the Gods isn't helpful in team fights unless it's over a Fire Giant or something.
And the other option is kind of a middle ground in between...
Oh, yeah,
nerfing or increasing the price of wards, and Brent's idea is to put maybe an extra passive on Eye of Providence to sweeten the deal that way. I don't know.
Well, in LoL, they actually went back and did something different. When I went back and tried like another season, you actually started off where you could basically buy this extra item that was basically that item that did wards like that. You like it wasn't in place of another item; it was just like an extra slot.
But
so
only that item can go in that slot.
And so, like, everybody bought it at the beginning. And it was like everybody... Because it's a team thing to ward, you know? If you... Like, originally in LoL, you would have one support who would have to, like, basically roam the map to, like,
ward all
everywhere.
the sites. Wow.
So, I don't know. I think there's... It's hard to compare the two games anymore because it seems like they're trying to get more that way with, like, the changes with the... Hunters. Warriors.
Yeah.
And it seems like if they're kind of going that way, they kind of need to do the same thing with Guardians, reduce the damage potential of Guardians so they don't go damage. But we'll talk about that later.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll talk about that later. So, I had an idea for an Eye of Providence active. I think it could do what it does already, and then also increase your vision by a certain percentage. Like your map vision, kind of like Odin's passive, but then if Odin got it, it would increase his vision even more.
Oh,
right? So it'd basically make everyone else, if they had High Providence level 3, give them Odin's normal passive.
That's
but then if
pretty
Odin
cool.
got it, he'd get like a super passive. So then Odin would be able to stand at like Fire Giant and see, I don't know, like mid lane or something. Something crazy.
Wow.
I don't know, but
Sweet idea.
that's an idea. Maybe not. I don't know.
Hey, here's an idea.
Patch of the Pantheons.
Yeah.
I love that one.
So
we had
this
a crazy
actually,
patch this week.
yeah,
Biggin.
this actually came out last week.
Well, it didn't. It came out like yesterday.
Yeah.
The patch notes came out.
The
last
notes
week.
did.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
But unlike most shows, we've actually got a chance to play it a little bit, and give our feedback on the different things that were added to the game,
Yeah.
or changed.
The biggest controversy around this table is the 4v4, obviously.
It's
and
the robot
the,
AI. Oh, not that.
the,
Robot AI is OP.
The liver failure.
So let's rush through this first part because it's stuff that we don't have to discuss. New scans: Gatekeeper Janus, Team Solomid Apollo, new Mountain Man Odin. I guess actually we kind of discussed the Solomid last week.
Yeah.
We did.
So we can go on with that. Ward skins. You just got to remember to equip these, or they won't show up.
Yeah.
Or you'll be like Eric, complaining throughout the entire game that he bought a ward skin and it's not showing up.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'm not sure is on the actual ward page where it shows your wards skins. There's an equip button down there.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Because I tried that.
I did it, and then in the game, I could see my Denton balloon.
Okay.
That's the one I went for.
And the other places down where your gems and stuff are right kind of above.
And there's a little eye right
There's
by your icon.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
next to your icon, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that's the one I did. Because there's
Okay.
an equip button. Once you pop that screen up,
Yeah.
and then you have to hit equip.
Well, when you buy them, there's an equip button there, so I don't know if it starts off on that stream.
I wonder if you just bought it and you want to automatically equip it, if that does work.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that work with Eye of Providence?
What?
Province?
I don't know.
Those
I
are
don't
like when it places it as a regular
Oh,
ward.
probably.
Right?
Yeah,
so
probably.
it probably does.
I imagine
Okay.
so.
Okay. Cool.
In general, accolades for Gold Fury and Fire Giant can be seen by the whole team.
Which I would just want to give a quick thing. That is super helpful, and playing Conquest a lot, I appreciate it a lot. It's a great change.
The character builder isn't its own tab anymore. Is that just under gods now?
Yeah.
It's on the gods page. There's a big old bar right below all the gods, and it has character builder.
That's good, because
Yeah.
I'd always go to that page first anyway. So.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you always get annoyed that you have to go to another tab.
Yeah.
Right.
The raw bot AI is improved.
So it's
it
OP?
was hilarious when I was watching the video when Bart was demoing Janus
Yeah.
because he kept trying to do the powers on Robot, and Robot kept juking him.
Dodging and stuff.
Hey, Robot has jukes now. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
He's like better juking than I am.
Fixed
insane.
assault rerolls giving you healers.
So was it broken and giving people healers?
Apparently
I think so.
so.
Okay.
I still would like it to where if you initially rolled a healer, that it would only let you re-roll a healer, but whatever.
I think people should have a right to screw over their team if they want to. Oh, Hindu Man. What's up, my friend? Hindu Man's in the chat, everybody.
Hello.
You guys don't know who he is, do you?
Hello.
I
Afro
do.
does.
He cast for the
Yeah.
EU tournament with Drybear.
Hindu Man is the EU caster.
Nice.
Oh,
Drybear.
sweet. Well, hello.
Welcome, Hindu Man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I really like him. How do you feel about him, Afro? We're talking about him in front of him. I really like him, so don't say anything mean.
I do really
About
like
Robot?
him.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about Hindumans in the chat.
Derailed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome.
I was going to expand on that, but Brent interrupted me, and I've lost my train of thought.
So we were talking about the assault rerolls. Like, I'm still kind of like I've used it for the first time, like last week. And
I did too,
And
yeah.
it was just to try to get a god because I had a god that it wasn't someone I didn't like, but it was someone I had already mastered, and I was like, well, I'll try to get someone I didn't master. Ended up getting somebody, and we were all physical. And we got steamrolled because we were all physical. So that was rough. I switched from a magical, so I probably would have done much better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have been tempted to use it on several occasions, but I still haven't used reroll.
Yeah. I still don't know. I still think there's something in there that needs to be, I don't know, changed. And maybe it's just assault in general. Like, I don't know. Like, you still get these completely, absolutely unfair matches regardless of healers.
Yeah.
Like, I almost liked it better when the healers are random and you didn't know who you were, like, they matched up the slots.
Well, when you get a team that's all melee characters against a team that's a mix of melee and range,
Healers.
yeah.
and you're like, your entire team is just like, you know, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
We can't even get close enough to him to do anything to
Yeah,
him.
or getting like 3 guardians
Yeah.
or something crazy against you. I mean, you just can't kill. Like, there's so many ways it screws you just as bad as healer, non-healer.
Yeah.
That I think it's like either take out the healer thing and just make it completely ARAM again, or go back to where you match slot for slot. Like one or the other. Because this kind of semi-even thing just makes people think it should be even. And at the end, you're like, dude, seriously, we had no chance. Like, regardless. You know, so I don't know. That's my feels on that one.
That's
There's
my
your
feels as
feels.
well. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I totally agree with you, and that doesn't happen often.
So they also added new music for Siege, which is awesome. There's new intro music when you come into the game, and when a team destroys one of the Phoenixes, it plays this endgame music, like in Arena. You know, they have the endgame music.
Yeah.
So there's new Siege endgame music, which is kind of like the Arena one, but slightly different. I've noticed it's a little tweaked. They also added proper announcer voice work for Siege.
I
And
missed
instead
the
of
other
saying-
one. The other one was so weird and awkward.
Yeah,
Your Siege weapon has arrived.
Yeah, it's like
Has
the
arrived.
Microsoft voice or
Yeah.
something.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it was just weird. But yeah, it sounds great now. Also, they redid the Pentakill voiceover. So,
Yeah.
did you hear that this week when you get your Pentakill, Kevin?
I don't think they do it when you're
so
smurfing.
I was yelling too loud. I was on TeamSpeak with Okami Luna, and I was yelling too loud because I was so happy that I actually didn't hear anything.
Oh, well, thanks for not getting information for us. For
You're
the show.
welcome.
Yeah.
You are welcome.
That's our homework this week, is to get a pentakill so we can hear it.
And somebody does it and actually doesn't do the homework.
That's right.
Oops.
You know.
And if we don't do it, I'll just rip it out of the game and we'll play it next week on the show.
Yeah, yeah. And
easy
finally, the 4v4 changed to siege mode.
Yeah.
In my head, I said this is going to take longer, but in the match we played, it didn't seem to.
It didn't really seem to, and like I was saying before the show, I'm wondering if they rebalanced the tickets to account for each team being down a player from before.
Right.
Because it did seem like the siege engines were spawning just as often with that match that we played.
Yeah. Well, then I guess it comes down to you have less people, so it's like those siege towers coming out from the Harpy and from the 100 tickets actually mean more than they used to. And that outweighs you having less people to push.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels like.
I do like that it feels a little bit more balanced, because before what would always end up happening to me is I'd be on the side that has 2 people and the other side has 3, and the other team decides to put 3 on the side that I'm on. So I'm like, can one of you come over here and help us? Like, not just,
Help me out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and besides that, probably the biggest change and most controversial change is the warrior balances.
Well, roots and cripples. Also, one thing. Roots and
hard
cripples
CC
are not hard CC anymore.
Yeah.
They won't activate Magi's Blessing.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, but okay. We'll live with it.
No, I mean,
I don't know. Is that good?
Well,
it seems like it's...
I play Neath a lot, and the fact that her root doesn't trigger Magi's Blessing, and then I hit them with the root, and they just keep on walking away. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So, and the warrior balances.
You like this?
Yes, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to go through each one of the balances, but basically, I guess their thought process was they wanted the warriors done to be so OP.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the issues that everyone had with Warriors was for someone that's been living under a rock, is that the Warriors could basically be as tanky as Guardians and still, go toe to toe with you and win.
Yeah.
Like, they were just so good, and that's why people, if you watch tournaments at all, were only playing like Warrior supports and maybe Geb. But other than that, it was all Warrior supports because they had such good CC and they were so good at tanking damage and so good at beating people. It's just...
So they really did 2 things to them, though. Really, just
right,
reduce
so they
their
reduced
attack speed and
attack
then
speed and their basic attack power.
Yeah. So
And
with
the
those
very
2
good-
things,
yeah.
And
CC
no
is a big
warrior
one.
can have more than one hard CC, I think is what they said.
So, and I
yeah.
think that's good because I think that's kind of in the wheelhouse of the Guardians. They should be the ones really doing the CC, in my opinion. Like that's not, like you're setting up the kills for everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing they need to do above and beyond this is basically reduce the amount of damage that you can build out of Guardians. Like Guardians shouldn't be mages.
So I disagree with Brent on this one because I know. Well, Brent and I like to disagree on things, but I think because if you build a Guardian, they're not going to do damage. I think it's okay that people can, play damage Ymir and Assault. Like, I think that's all right. Because if you're playing a serious conquest game, you could go jungle Ymir, but you're still going to have a support on your team that's a traditional support. And that person is now probably going to be a Guardian. Or maybe a warrior that builds tanky, which they still can. They're not, prevented from doing that. They're just not as good. Mm-hmm. So there's no worry of a Guardian, like you having an Ymir on your team and thinking he's going to be a Guardian and then him going damage for some reason. I mean, that might happen, but it's not on a serious team, right? Like, not on any kind of organized team is that going to happen. They're still going to have a traditional support who now is probably going to be a Guardian and is still going to build protection.
I'm not going to get into a huge ban argument here. I mean, it's just...
Oh, we're talking about bans
No,
again?
never. That's ban.
He was using ban as an
It's just one of these
example.
things where
Yeah.
it's just... It's
a matter of an opinion.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's just...
Well, I wasn't trying to... I thought
My thought
point
is
was
more that I think
elevated.
the roles need to be defined. And
Kind
it's
of.
like if you have all these roles that's, well, you can play this or this, then not only is it confusing to new players, like they see in a mirror and they go, oh, he's a guardian, and you're a new player, especially coming from other MOBAs where it's really defined kind of what your roles are and what you do, that it's confusing. Like, all of a sudden, Amir's like beating the crap out of you, and
you have
he's
no
supposed
idea
to
why.
be a tank, right?
Yeah,
You're
you have to
a
look at his
guardian.
build. I kind of like it. Like, I'll miss it, I guess, at first, because it feels like it's more flexible of a game. And when you have a game that's more flexible, it opens up doors to more skill and more, less like hand-holding and more figuring out new ways to play the game yourself. So a 5-man team have many more options than just, well, we got to be, this guy's a tank and this guy, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But I'm not against it. I'm just saying right now it feels like we're getting a lot of options stripped away from us instantly in one patch.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what happens. And it seems like Hi-Res is open to ideas.
Well,
and they'll change anything in a drop of a hat anyway, and always for the best, it seems like. So
And these changes, like the way Bart put it, is the warriors now are jacks of all trade. They're not going to be experts at any particular thing, and they should range anywhere between a guardian and an assassin in their effectiveness in different roles. It's just you can't do
Everything.
You can't do everything in
At the
one
same
god.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Built with one build.
Yeah.
yeah, and that shouldn't be the case. And when I was saying the options, it's good to have many, many options, but it's not good to have like an OP class that can do everything. That just doesn't make any sense at all. So
Right, exactly. So
But yeah, at
it
the
was a
same
really
time.
good change.
yeah.
But it's like, when do you stop it? Like, should every class just, like, do you want, mages to come out and be your tank kind of thing? Like,
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
where
that's
does
weird.
it stop? Like,
Right.
you might as well just make it this homogenous, like, MOBA where it's just like, well, you pick your class, but then you can do whatever the hell you want after that. You can tank, you can do damage, you can heal, you can do everything. Just pick the right items. Like, now we have items that will make you a healer, and your damaging abilities now heal people.
Yeah, that'd be
instead of
So it
damaging
turns
them.
into loadout.
Like,
Right.
yeah, it basically just becomes this undefined mishmash of what the hell is going on.
Well, I
And that's-
guess my question is, should they restrict what items people can buy to only be able to fit their role?
Well, here's my stance on it. Each individual quote unquote class does have base stats that boost what they're supposed to be. So if you're taking a mage and trying to build him as a tank, you're already at a disadvantage because you're not going to have the same base stats as a guardian. You're not going to
Right.
have the same base stats as a true guardian. So if you want to do that, more power to you, but you're automatically
I have a
putting
message
yourself
for you.
at a disadvantage.
Gotta go.
What happened there? That was weird.
I don't know.
Not only did you
He was
interrupt
Mercury,
me,
get the hell out of here.
yeah.
not only did you interrupt
It's
me,
got-
but we've already
it's got
used
all-
that one.
It was my mouse.
But
It's weird.
but and that's just basically what I'm saying is
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that I think that kind of falls in the kind of confusing element. Right?
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you're
and I
confusing
agree.
People are like, what's going on here because nothing's defined. That's why they made it where you couldn't use physical items if you're magical.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's
and
like-
that was a good decision.
yeah.
I'm really disappointed that you can't buy 5 pairs of boots now. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think everybody's got good
Yeah.
opinions.
Got
on
an
that.
opinion, yeah. So what we do want to talk about is some of the some of the balances they did, some of the interesting ones. We don't talk about all of them, but some of the crazy ones, especially Nemesis is now an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
She is reclassified, so her health was reduced, her health per level was reduced, her basic attack speed was increased, and her basic physical protection was reduced.
You go, girl.
So, but the guy who was hit the hardest, or the two guys that were hit the hardest, were Odin and Sun Wukong. And Gungir's Might and Odin's Shout no longer provide their passive protections and physical power, which is crazy. Crazy. And then Sun Wukong, Master's Will, his spinning around knockup ability, if you don't know them by name, doesn't knock up anymore. It slows,
Yeah.
which is also crazy.
Yeah. Interesting, and that's because they couldn't have too many hard CCs going on, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is
And for Odin, they wanted
tier guy.
to, because, they inherent in Odin's kit used to be protections and power. like exactly what he needed to be a tank and a damage dealer.
Yeah.
I mean, when you leveled them up completely, they were like 2 free items. Basically, it was crazy. So, I think that was a really good change. And then small nerfs on other gods. In case you guys have anything else you want to say about this.
No, go on.
Okay, small nerfs on. So Uller had just some small damage changes.
Yay!
Bastet's 1 no longer gives her CC immunity at all for any point,
Yeah.
which is good.
Which they previously nerfed that as well.
Right,
And they
but now they
decided they had
nerfed it
nerfed
even
it
more.
enough.
Right. Agnes 3 no longer gives CC immunity, which I think, and I read that they did that to keep it in line with other escapes, that like no escape offered CC immunity.
Yeah.
So it like it makes them across the board fair. And the biggest one, perhaps, besides the warrior nerfs, was that Zeus's 3 no longer stuns people when you have 3 charges on them.
Yay.
Just does a slow.
The 30% slow, which is still pretty good. I mean, that's
And that's
like a 30% slow is harsh.
And that's everybody at once, obviously. So that's a mass slow
Right.
across the map kind of thing. I mean, something had to be done with Zeus. And I was afraid to know what... I mean, I love playing Zeus, honestly. I hate playing against Zeus. But because he's so OP, you know, and he's always at the top of the ban list when we're doing jousts or when we're doing draft pick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
And when you're not doing draft pick, you always feel like in the back of your head you have to pick Zeus because you think that they're going to pick Zeus.
yeah. And it's like, well, what were they going to do? Well, this is the one little thing that they decided to do. That is a nice nerf, but still, I think you can pretty much own. I don't know. There's
I
a lot
think
of direct
until they
damage.
reduce the range of his chain lightning, like I think that's
maybe changing some of his burst to damage over time. I know it sounds lame, but the fact that he has so many abilities that just burst damage, that's the deadliness about Zeus, I feel like. He can instantly change the game. A bunch of people that are like 100% health are instantly down. I think that's the hurt here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, so that's why this is a good nerf, because they didn't change his damage, they changed his
His
utility.
CC, yeah. So
Well, and that's kind of why I love all these changes to the CC. Like less CC, I think is going to make more fun games. Like being stopped and just not being able to play the game is always just suck, no matter on what end you're on.
Well, and there's only so much you can do against CC, and when you're in the middle of a bunch of enemies and you're just trying to get out, and you're pretty high in health, and they can do so much CC that they can burn you down, not instantly, but over time, just by continuously applying CC and stopping you. It's just so frustrating, and it makes you just want to Alt F4.
yeah.
With your mouth.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something else, but I decided not to.
Okay.
Whoa, all right.
Well,
Glad
we
you
can-
decided not to
Yeah.
say whatever that was.
Yeah.
Well, how about we just
You
say
guys
that-
want to talk about some liver failure? New God.
Janus!
Yeah, we're talking
Bumper-
about jaundice or
Bumper
Janus,
Janus.
however you want to pronounce it.
Bumper OP high res please nerf.
So this is I didn't know he was going to be a robot. Did that catch anybody else by surprise?
No.
Was that
No.
weird?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
just me. Okay.
You're the
Well,
only person
okay,
on
I
the
should put it
planet.
this
I was
way.
like, he's like popping
you know,
and locking. That was nice.
I didn't know what he was going to look like until they revealed his god card, but then once they did that, then I knew, of course.
So, and Eric and I were talking about this. I mean, like when people were making up gods and
In the oldie
mythological
times.
times,
Yeah.
they didn't know what robots were, so they wouldn't imagine that. Like who was the first one to do a robot?
Was it like
iRobot?
Isaac Asimov or something?
like
yeah,
that.
I think if you're talking about like automatons, that was,
Well, it could be
late
like
1800s, early
golems and things like that.
It was basically once they figured out they could make machines move, like when the motor was invented, that like idea started happening. But it wasn't like Isaac Asimov was who brought it to mainstream. Yeah, like mainstream sci-fi.
So, like,
That was-
like either this is saying that gods were real, so that you could have a mechanical god before people knew what mechanical was, right?
Yeah.
Or it's a made-up god in 2014.
Well, or this is just a avatar for the god,
Yeah.
and you should just take it at face value and not read anything into it.
That's my job, is to read into every little thing to make a topic and discussion out of.
Brent, you think our ban arguments are bad? If we're going to talk about like how poorly high res like has some of the art design, like historically, if we're going to talk about that, it'll get way worse. So,
Moving on.
Sounds like you're
We don't
want
wanna
to
go there.
Jerk. I think their art's awesome.
Moving on.
So tweet,
Well, okay, the art's great, but
tweet.
historical
Nivik said it
accuracy-
first. He doesn't like high res's art.
I didn't say that.
All I know is their art rules.
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
We all love it except Kevin. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
I
weird,
hate.
dude.
I love high res.
So moving on.
Moving on.
Hey, did he say he loves high res Bart?
I do
like
love high-res
biblically?
art also.
I do too. I like Bart and art.
You want to mention his passive, Janus?
I like Bart's art.
Is that how you really say it? That's how the announcer says it.
Janus.
Giannis.
Giannis.
In a very like weird voice.
Yeah, but
So
the
this
announcer
is
also
a
says
Swedish
"Ooh."
god,
So
Swedish robot
Swedish robot.
with liver failure.
So it's passive. Anytime Janus transitions through a portal or over a threshold, becomes aged and wizened, gaining 25% magical power, scaling on his next ability cast.
I.e., his
That's
head
what
flips
makes
around.
3 what 3 is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's
yeah.
the thing that's not on the tooltip for 3 that actually makes it worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
what?
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. We were talking about how weird 3 is, but anyway. So that's his passive. So you want to use his portals before you engage.
Or throw up a threshold.
And
before
threshold.
you- yeah.
Which are the floor ones.
Yeah.
3.
The wall.
I'm just
thing.
saying before we get into the next things, just his passive, that's that's just a broad statement. You want
Yeah.
to use portals and things to
And
get his magic
thresholds.
scaling higher.
3, the thing.
Right. Now
Only until we mention
talk
it
about
on the
this
show.
later. So portal is one. Janus creates a portal in the world, and he places it. If he places it on a wall, it creates an awesome passage that is just so good for ganking and escaping. But if it's placed on the ground, enemy gods, minions, and Janus himself will fall through it and then fall through the sky and take a little bit of damage. Not a lot, but
The enemies.
right. But it disables them for a while they're falling through it. So it's pretty cool.
It
It's
can only be
basically
used
like
once,
Freya's Banish, but
does damage.
does damage as well. See,
And-
they need to add that to Freya's Banish, I think.
Well, and also the portal can only be used once. So like if he randomly runs through it and falls, through the ground and falls back down, then an enemy can't, So you got to take that into consideration.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
thought. I thought
It can only be used once.
Huh.
Yeah, and you can get minions in that, whoever you want to. My one little issue with the portal, though, is that like a lot of his abilities, there's not a whole lot of feedback on a lot of his abilities. Like basically confirmation to let you know what's happening. Like visually, yeah, you're falling through a portal. You look down. I mean, your feet. I mean, that's cool. But like, what I really would love is like more sound. Like when you're falling, I don't hear anything. It's all silent. I'm just like, whoa, hey, what's going on? And then you fall. There's
It's not like Freya's 3 where you hear the bong.
yeah, that's very
Right?
sharp. And also like Kumbhakarna, when he knocks you up in the air with that epic uppercut, it's like, like I feel
Yeah.
like this is like a silent, like
Yeah,
a
and I mean-
portal. Like I don't know why. I don't know if
And-
this is just a beta thing or
And they might be still tweaking that. You never know.
yeah.
And I do agree that there is not more audio cues to let you know.
Yeah, what's happening,
Yeah.
right?
Now that you say that, like that match that was all Janus, it just
feels very
seems
silent.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And maybe that is. Maybe like Afro said, maybe that's something they're working on and taking more time because it is different.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean,
Hopefully.
even when Bart was doing the demo on stream, like the portals in the victory animation were just the placeholder portals. They weren't the real ones. So they
Yeah.
were still actively working on it, even when they were demoing it on stream.
Right.
So I'm
So
sure
it's-
eventually, after
hopefully.
they get some feedback, they'll tweak it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
busy putting in the, here comes
Ward
the
skins.
siege towers.
Oh yeah, the behemoth or what do they
Yeah.
call it? The juggernaut.
The
Juggernaut.
Yeah.
And after all the siege matches I played, this is the first time I looked up and like at the enemies like And then I went, oh, that's a really cool like Mayan temple back there.
Oh yeah, you're all admiring the art.
First time I've seen it. Yeah.
Although Kevin doesn't like it because he doesn't like high res art.
That's true.
Yeah, he hates it.
Just high res Bart.
That's true.
I
Hashtag.
like high-res's art, man. Come on, guys. Come on.
Did he say he likes
that.
it when Bart farts? What?
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah. That's
Anyway,
crazy.
so
It's an
Janus
unstable
is
vortex.
It's called Unstable Vortex. And Janus tosses two portals in this
That's
weird
Janus.
zigzaggy, like, not zigzaggy, this weird curved line thing.
Parabola?
I think
and
it's
they
a
do some
sine wave.
damage.
It's a sine wave, technically.
Sine wave?
It is a
Parabola?
sine. It's a sine. It's true.
There's
that's
two
a sine
sine
wave.
waves,
Wow, Eric,
yeah.
you're a smarty pants.
Thanks. I try.
So his 3, though, which is his most OP ability, is
You don't want to talk about the unstable thing? So this is weird. It's hard to hit people, but I understand it's not a random pattern. It is a sine wave, so it takes practice. You could get good at that. But
Right.
again, this one has the least amount of feedback, I feel like. So if you hit somebody, you really want to know, especially because you're hitting them with such a weird, almost flimsy type of a spell where you need to know if you've hit them or not. So we need sound effects to let us know if they're even hit or not. You can look and you can see numbers, floating above somebody's head to let you know that they've been hit. But this one by far needs more confirmation because it lets you know if you've hit them, you know that you've done well, and now your brain you're being trained to use this ability better and better every time. So please, high res, we need sound effects to let them know they're getting hit by the 2. Please, please. And if there are sound effects, they're not loud enough. Like I don't hear them.
One of the other things I do like about that particular ability, though, is the fact that and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. Like if you hit with one, it does a certain amount of damage, but if you hit with both, it does additional damage, doesn't it?
yes, that's 50% more damage if you hit with both.
Yeah.
If you hit with both.
So
It's like
Yeah.
50% like total damage.
yeah.
Like so, it's like it's like 150% total damage. It's not like 250%.
Yeah, but still, like it makes it worth hitting that very difficult skill shot
Right.
to
Where they collide in the middle. Yeah.
to get it.
Right.
Yeah. And this seems to be kind of his only big damage dealing ability, right? Is his 2?
Mainly, yes.
I mean,
Mainly, that is his damage dealing ability.
So,
Primarily.
but anyway.
So his 3 is called Threshold, and he creates this line on the ground. The crazy part about Threshold is it has a passive and an active. So its passive is it increases the movement speed of himself and allies when they go over a portal or a threshold. However, when Janus, its active is he opens the rift, and enemies who pass over the rift are marked with phase. And when they are in phase, they take... the numbers here actually need to be updated. They nerfed it. The numbers in the doc are incorrect, but it does up to 60% additional magical damage scaling. So it's like a magical or like an ability polynomicon, basically. That's what it does.
Yeah.
So
they cross over it, and you'll do up to 60% additional damage on that guy.
so how do they get phased again?
Passing
They
through.
walk over it.
Yeah.
So
It's the line on the ground if they walk on it
okay.
at all.
Oh, okay. So once they've gotten marked as phased, that debuff or whatever, then only then you can hit them for more, right?
Yes, but then also if Janus passes over it too, he gets additional 25% magical power scaling on his ability and his ability raw. So if he hits them also and it's leveled up fully, it'll do 85% additional damage.
So not basics, right? Just
No,
abilities.
like his abilities, but the abilities do more damage for a mage anyway.
So you want to hit him with the 2? I mean, the 1, I guess, right? That would the fall damage on his portal that would be considered.
Yeah, but you would want to waste it on your portal. So
Right.
ideally, you maybe like portal in, for example. You toss your threshold down. So the portaling in gives you the additional damage. You put the threshold down on top of them, and then you hit them with your 2.
Yeah.
And bam, bam, and it does 85% additional damage. And if you get lucky and hit him with both portals, it does massive damage.
It sounds like a lot of circumstantial hooey to me. Kind of like, what if this happened and then this and then this? Like everything has to align just right for this
Well,
to
that's
happen.
part of playing the god.
Yeah.
Is learning how to do that.
I mean, some gods are more difficult to play than others.
right.
I'll tell you
So-
what, it seemed almost impossible to get out of his 2.
Yeah.
Like whenever he shot it, like
You-
if I wasn't off to the side, it wasn't like I could. It felt like it was one big ray shooting at me.
Well,
it
and-
might as well have been.
What's weird is sometimes you luck out because it kind of narrows as it gets further along. But if you get close enough to him and don't get hit by that initial one, sometimes he'll just go around you as it moves out.
Yeah, I saw Kevin try to clear a lane of minions and it went right around him. 0 damage, baby.
We're not talking about all the times that I dodged an enemy.
Yeah.
Talking about the time I missed. That's cool.
See, that'd be
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
if you could time it just right and it, you went right through that too. I don't know.
See, I
there's
think
some-
that is part of playing against Janus and why people are so hard is because they're used to gank or trying to juke a line ability.
right.
So many gods have line abilities, and you're used to dodging those. You're not used to dodging this weird sine wave ability.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like your initial instinct is you see it coming out, and your instinct is to move to the side, like you do with line abilities. But you move to the side, and it swings out, and then it hits you anyway. So it's almost like you want to move in. You want to move the opposite when he's shooting it at you.
Yeah.
yeah. I think we're gonna see the Nerf boomsticks come out for Janus.
I
Yeah.
think so.
I think he's one of those gods that has a high learning curve, and so once people start getting him, especially
Yeah.
the people who are really get it, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, let's tone him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what you were saying earlier before the show. The people who are mediocre players will play them mediocrely, but the
Right.
ones who are really good, and when it finally clicks, they're going to be, I won't say unstoppable, but damn close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's
I
talk
agree.
about his ult before we give kind of final opinions, I guess. Through time and space, or through space and time.
Yeah.
Or through and.
Ooh.
Huh?
So what's this one?
So, Janus blasts a slow-moving ball of multidimensional energy across the battlefield, burning a portal into every surface it encounters within range. 500. These portals last 10 seconds, may be used by allies, and do not vanish after the first use. Enemies hit by the energy take a lot of damage, plus 50% magical power, as damage increasing as magic scaling the further the ball travels. Cooldown 90 seconds.
So you want to hit him from far away.
And it is a global ult that goes all the way across the map.
Yep. The
Yeah.
portals don't, like it says here, they only
Yeah.
go a certain distance, but the ball of energy will go forever.
So they last 10 seconds, so that's a nice travel from one end to the other in Conquest or even Siege. But
Right. I actually saw a funny video of Kelly, and they were playing Siege, and the enemy Titan was really low, but they were in the enemy jungle. So she ults towards the Titan, and her whole team just walks through and kills the Titan. And the enemy team was in the jungle trying to fight them.
that's fun.
Well-
I hadn't even thought about that.
Do you have to have
yeah.
the towers down and the Phoenix to kill the Titan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Or-
did.
or-
Like,
I
the
mean,
Titan
I
was
assumed
low.
you would.
Or,
yeah.
or
It
you
was
have-
pretty low.
The Phoenix and the yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that like when we were playing, you were saying that he seemed slow, which we looked at the stats and he is not.
yeah, 350 starting. Speed.
But the thing is that the portals add so much to his mobility, especially the ult, to be able to get nearly across the map or across the map, depending on which game mode you're playing, is oh my god. I
yeah,
mean,
that's a lot of teleporting. But it doesn't say anything about the long charge up time for that ult because it can be used as a snipe, like a raw snipe or something, but it's pretty slow to charge up.
One of the matches I was watching earlier this week, somebody using him ulted from their spawn all the way across the map to the enemy spawn because his team was trying to take down the Titan, and he basically just ulted on one of his teammates, expecting one of the enemies to be near, and killed somebody from across the map.
Yeah. This is there's a guy in LoL named I think Ezra, and he had a global ult. It was basically just like this. It just shot this like electrical boomerang, not boomerang, but thing just all the way across the map. And so that's what you do. You'd see someone backing, and you'd try to time it so as soon as they hit back, you killed them before they healed up.
Yeah.
Like got the heal ticks.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was like some cool stuff like that, and trying to get.
Oh,
you know,
wow. I
across
didn't
the
even
map.
think about that.
So
It's not trying to hit the person backing, but hitting them when they are done backing.
Yeah,
Now-
and they would clear lane waves, like mid lane waves. You know, they're all coming up to. I don't know if this does the same thing. If it'll hit minions, is
I mean,
It doesn't.
I-
Actually, it only hits gods.
Yeah.
It doesn't even hit
so,
the
okay.
Minotaur.
So you
And
can't use it
Titan.
that, but yeah.
Well, and the other thing that about trying to use it across for the backing thing is that the well is so wide, and you can spawn, like when you back, you can spawn at any of those slots on the well. It might not be really feasible to try to do it because, yeah, you can aim directly at their spawn, but there's no guarantee they're going to spawn in the middle or wherever you're aiming within the well.
Right.
But if you hit it, I mean, that's still that would be even more legendary then.
Yeah, in LoL, there's a much smaller landing pad, and I
Yeah.
think everybody lands at the same spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's much harder. I think maybe Janus should be the god of no more lazy backing.
Yes.
Because this is not, there's no more getting behind a tower and backing, because he's like, okay, yeah. See you later.
Yeah.
buddy.
And
Nice
someone
try.
was saying because, I am Mr. Legendary Neath, but with Neath, you still have to have someone with eyes on them or something with eyes on them so you can lock on. With this, you don't need that. You can
Right.
just fire it. It takes
I
a while
think-
for it to charge up, but,
I do think
If they
we
don't see you
are-
charging up, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right?
But here's the important part. I think we are giving way too much credit. This skill shot, it's really hard to hit.
it really is.
It's really hard to hit with. So I don't think it's OP. I think it's a fine ult.
Oh, I don't
No,
think it's
It's-
OP.
no,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
it's
think everybody
like
would say
hard to
that.
hit with. It does a amount of damage, and it is a great utility ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah,
no, we're just saying that it has a lot of potential.
yeah, that's true.
I think it's
totally
a
agree.
fun ult. I mean, I'd
It's super
love
fun,
that it's
too,
in here.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like, you're like, oh, I'm in base. You need help in your lane? Hold on. I'll be there in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Speaking of being here in 5 seconds,
It's hammer time! Thor's top 5.
Yes. What do we have today, Thor?
Today, we have the rejected gods in Smite.
with a lowercase g.
Yes.
With a lowercase g.
So the first one is the god of feeding.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Rejected.
He would want you to die a lot, I think, right?
The second
Yes.
is, and maybe we might want this in the game, the god of breastfeeding.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Rejected.
No,
Which might be Aphrodite.
that's weird.
Yeah.
It's an odd one.
Well, number 3 sounds good. The god of bad sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Rejected.
BM, you'll get 35% speed bonus for calling him a jackhole.
What's number
Number
2?
2 is,
The
someone else say it.
the goddess of halitosis.
Oh, rejected.
Bad breath. I like that. Maybe Bakasura, right? He
yeah.
got
I
bad
mean,
breath.
we already have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
And the number one rejected god is
The god, no, it's just Jesus.
is Jesus.
Oh,
Jesus.
sad.
Just Jesus.
Jesus.
Hey,
He's-
thanks
yeah,
for trying to
he's-
steal my thunder right there, dude.
Welcome.
He's been
You're
rejected.
welcome.
It's been rejected.
Oh.
Poor Jesus. We love you
We do.
and wish you could
Well,
come play Smite with us.
So,
Nice job. That was Thor's top 5.
All right.
All right.
That was good.
Mhm.
All right. So, well, it's been over an hour.
Yeah.
all right.
Really? Long time.
yeah,
we'll
ti-
get to a hot topic sometime, right?
You know, time flies when you're arguing about stuff that, really
When you're arguing about the
probably
god of
doesn't
time
matter
and
in the
space.
long run.
Yeah.
Good times, man.
Good
This has,
times.
We
been
went
a,
all the way through Jonas's ult, and we're at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
the
we got
very
there.
end
we
where
got
you
there
normally
quickly.
you have like
Yeah.
bed of epic.
Okay, I got to say this. The
I'll turn
Jesus
this-
passive, and this is from Hindu Man. The Jesus passive would revive you 3 games later.
I like it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, thanks for everybody coming along and checking out this show live. We do this every single week on Thursday nights. If you can follow us at Dead Workers. It always gets tweeted that we're starting the show. Also, of course, this is on iTunes. And this gets up on our YouTube channel every Monday. Every Monday at 4 a.m. to be precise. So you can watch this many different ways.
Yes.
And
Or
we
listen to it.
and we like when you're in the chat room because you can hang out with all the people watching, and we might steal your jokes from the chat room
Yes.
and not give you credit.
Yeah,
Although
gave
we've never
credit.
done that. We've
No,
never
but
done
he
that.
did give him
gave
credit.
credit.
That's right. He
Oh.
did. He did. He's good.
but if people
So-
are watching the show, they can see the chat and they will know.
Yes, they will know forever.
You can, though, if you want to be on the show without being here, you can call us 662-736-8260.
And you can submit stuff to us at smitesubmit.deadworkers.com.
Yeah, give us stuff for the show.
And we'll have a link next week, but we actually have a way for you to buy gems that actually helps the show out, or the Ultimate God Pack. So we've got a friend who does an affiliate, and they just got approved to basically be a reseller for gems and God Pack. And it's the same price, so it's not like you're spending more doing it that way, but it just helps the show out. So
Oh, yeah? Okay.
we'll let you know what that is next week.
Nice. Go
But
to
before that,
patreon.com/deadworkersparty if you want to help us out.
And then you can
Smite on!
on.
You are now at the end of another episode of On Smite, a podcast brought to you by the Dead Workers Party. Listen every week by subscribing on iTunes or by visiting smite.deadworkers.com. Watch the episodes on youtube.com/deadworkersparty or see the live show at deadworkers.com/live.